What's good, YouTube? James Polk here, about to showcase you guys some updates and changes to this Amazon's deck profile I've been working on throughout those several months. And during testing, despite the non-meta, it has able to outsmoke the rest of the rogue decks, as I should say, along with the help of the link spam and certain tech cards and other engines to it. And without further ado, let's get right to the deck. And I won't be able to explain this much about the Amazon stuff in general, but the rest of the tech cards I can show you and tell you guys why. So, for starters, 3 Amazoness Princess. She's your playmaker of the whole Amazoness archetype. She lets you search out Amazoness spell traps. She sits on the field or graveyard face up by the name of Amazoness Queen, and her last effect is where it's not a once per turn, but whenever she declares an attack, you can send one other card on the field or in your hand to the graveyard to special any Amazoness monster you want from the deck in defense mode outside of Princess. And then 3 Swords Woman. You have to play her in case for when you don't have anything offensive going against big beaters. This is where they take all of the damages instead of you during certain battles involving Swordswoman. So, and then 2 Baby Tigers. That's your floater of the deck, and while he sits face up on the field or graveyard, he's Amazoness Tiger. And for every Amazoness card in my graveyard, including spell traps, it gains extra 100 attack. So in the late game situations or like in the grind game matches, where when it comes to Amazoness Baby Tiger's strength, he can be reached up around like almost 2k attack. Sometimes with Radiant, he gets an even bigger boost though. 2 Spies. That's your extender and your recursion of the deck. And we also literally needed to add in a level 3 Earth Warrior as well, so that way that can be your soul play turn 1 like it was meant to do. Big Queen for battle immunity to all Amazoness you control, including herself. Archer is a game stealer, and Sage is for the spell trap removal as long as she's still alive at the end of the damage step, and it's not even a once per turn thing. And then 2 Earth Warrior Tuner guys, TG Striker and Attack Gainer. If I happen to specifically open up one of those 2, this is where if you have it sold along with the number of equips, depends on which ones, you can send in only 1 for Attack Gainer or send in 2 for the TG Striker. And then best case scenario is that like if you have a Baby Tiger in your hand or graveyard, you can also send in 3 equips, so that way you can special on one of the level 3 Amazoness between Princess and Spy, so that way Baby Tiger's effect is live. And then you're pretty much all good to go with the Summon Sork or Sarisia plays. And then X Saber Airbellum. This is another tech. Valerifawn, Rescue Cat, and Rescue Ferret. Between Valerifawn and X Saber Airbellum, these are the other 2 tech cards I played. X Saber Airbellum, we needed another level 3 Earth Beast Tuner, so that way this is meant for Naturia Beast like it was meant to do after the Summon Sorceress play. And then Valerifawn, this access you Baby Tiger with ease. And then Rescue Cat, Rescue Ferret, self-explanatory on those. And then King of the Swamp for the Poly to Empress. 40 spells, Foolish Burial, Monster Reborn, 1 for 1, Attack Gainer, Rota, Scapegoats, and Upstarts. And then 3 Amazoness Call, And then Amazonic Spellcaster. Spellcaster is a late game / game stealer because if my opponent makes an unbreakable board, all they have to do is just like bait out the right cards correctly, because if they don't do it by then, chances are like if I see Amazonic Call or Amazonic Princess, I can just have either Call or Princess effect go live to search out the spellcasters, and then just have this one Amazonic monster do all of the work by switching the attacks, and then banish Call to swing multiple times, and then that's pretty much of an OTK setup. One Poly, Amazonic Empress, searchable all from swamps, double instant fusion, and then 3 equips, Noble Arms Arfidutor, Horn of the Unicorn, and Phoenix Blade. Noble Arms Arfidutor. This is where, like, if you're forced to go second, and if you open up Arfidutor itself, you can pretty much do the combo where you get to pop 2 set cards in that same turn. You just do Arfidutor's effect before linking into a sold, and then the second time you do it is after you have the Arfidutor re-equipped to his sold. And then Horn of the Unicorn, it's where if I happen to specifically open up this card itself, and if you're forced to go second, the Horn of the Unicorn also lets you fix your deck, so that way you're able to send either 1, 2, or 3 equips to the graveyard, as long as you don't open up either Attack Gainer or TG Strike right away. And then Phoenix Blade, self-explanatory on that one. And then the traps, only play 4 traps. Judgment and 3 Amazonic Onslaught. You need to see this card at all times, turn 1, like it's meant to do, because I kept telling other Amazonic players, for those who are playing the Link Spam version, play all search cards and extenders at all times in order for you to see this card, because if you don't see this card turn 1, you're pretty much going to lose on this one. So this is where once per turn, it's a battle phase where you special summon 1 Amazonic monster from your hand. It lets you gain that 500 attack as well until the end of the turn. Not a once per turn thing, doesn't target, doesn't destroy, but after damage calculation, it is a spot removal against unbeatable monsters, and by spot removal, it gets banished. And then the third and last effect is a monster reborn for Amazonic monsters in my graveyard, and it's not even a once per turn thing, which is absolute mental. You can pretty much do this play whether if it's off from Breaksword or Darumidol, which is absolutely insane, and it helps you keep on extending plays from there if you decided to pop cards this way. So, and then extra deck. 2 is sold. You had to play it because the majority of this deck, like basically female Earth warrior ladies, the Amazonic Girls, they're pretty much all warriors. 2 Mrs. Radiant. That is pretty much for everyone that's not King of the Swamp in this main deck, are all Earths. And then double Darumidol, best Link 2 monster ever been printed for the animal engine of this deck. It's basically a scrap dragon for spell traps. This also lets you pop something like Phoenix Blade for you to have it backed up, or like if you're able to pop something like Onslaught, so that way you're able to revive any of your Amazonics and keep on extending your plays from there. Summon Sorceress, enough said about this card. Saryuja, Amazonic Empress, you must have to see this card in play at all times, even in a grind game situation where if you don't have anything offensive to keep yourself going or just like push for game, you just make this and start beating over monsters. And she also enables every single one of your Amazonic monsters to do pierce damage, and she is able to protect other Amazonic cards from battle or effects, and she Also lets you revive a queen from the graveyard or special one from a hand or deck as well. And then the 2 instant fusion targets, Carbonella Warrior and Fusionist. Beast, that's your turn 1 play versus Sky Strikers, or like pretty much all meta that involves spells. Barkion, that is for Altageist, Paleos, if you somehow can get it off turn 1. Break Sword, same reason with Darumidol. And Ronin Raccoon Sendeyu, this is for if you don't have anything else to keep your Amazoness plays going, you could just make Sendeyu off from the animal engine as of the baby tigers or even a Valeraphon. So that way you can start swinging over your opponent's big monsters if you really needed to at this point on. So, and with that being said, this is James Polk showcasing you guys this Amazoness deck. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you guys later on.